Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
Court Street is more crowded than ever as Ohio University's homecoming weekend starts today. Good evening, I'm Allison Gens.
And I'm Chelsea Six. Thanks for joining us. The 2016 homecoming theme is All Roads Lead Home, and people are excited to make their way back on the bricks.
I think it's fantastic having alumni on campus, and I love getting to see all of the returning Marching 110 members.
In some ways it hasn't changed at all, and other ways it's a lot different. You go down 50 towards those hotels, none of that stuff existed.
We're going to go to the game tomorrow, go Bobcats, and take in as much as Athens and OU campus as we can.
As always, there are events for current students, alumni, and community members to enjoy, starting with the annual homecoming parade. The parade route has changed once again. It will start at the bottom of Union Street, turn right before Buffalo Wild Wings, wrapping around onto Court Street and ending at the parade grandstands at the corner of Union Street and College Street. The homecoming parade starts at 10 a.m. tomorrow. WOUB will be live stream the parade on our website at woub.org. I'll be out there talking to alumni and showing you all of the floats. It will also be the first time to view the newly renovated College Gate. And be sure to share your favorite homecoming memories with us during the parade using the hashtag OhioHC2016. Again, parade coverage starts at 10 a.m. After the parade, head on over to the Bobcat Bash tailgating party by Peden Stadium. That starts at 11:30 a.m. Then make sure to catch Ohio football play Bowling Green at 2 p.m. inside Peden. Columbus police can now review body camera footage before they file reports or make statements. Columbus officials released the agreement with the police union on Thursday. City officials say body cameras strengthen relationships between police and the community. OUPD Lieutenant Tim Ryan says OUPD does not wear body cameras, but they are continuing to monitor the relevant legal decisions as technology develops. West Liberty University Board of Governors approved a campus ban on firearms and other deadly weapons on Wednesday. The vote followed a state law enacted earlier this year, allowing concealed handguns without a permit. OUPD Lieutenant Tim Ryan says it's not legal to have concealed carry firearms on college campuses in Ohio, so OU will not have to take action on the issue.
From the Newswatch Weather Center, I'm Matt Thigpen. Right now in Athens, we're seeing 72 degrees. Those clouds have steadily moved in. These are actually associated with Hurricane Matthew down in Florida, so quite interesting what we're talking here. Winds out of the east at 5 miles per hour. Right now in Columbus, 75 degrees. Same with Chillicothe at 75. Warmer spot down in Ironton at 78 degrees. Ripley over there, 70 degrees. Cooler spot at Marietta. If you haven't headed out yet for our high school football Friday night lights, right now it'll be 68 degrees by kickoff. We'll cool down throughout the night. Cloudy skies, clear conditions. That rain should stay off to our southeast into West Virginia, Charleston area. So it should be a pretty nice night for some football. Winds out of the east, 0 to 5 miles per hour. Sounds like a great night for football, Allison.
Yes, it does, and a good night for our first weekend of homecoming also.
Oh.
While a family makes funeral arrangements for an infant, the mother's boyfriend will be arraigned Thursday morning on sexual assault charges. Charges related to the child's death. The family now calls Benjamin Taylor a monster. Amanda Barron reports.
The pure innocence in little Emily's eyes.
She was the most pleasant baby in the world.
Is fueling her family's fight for justice.
The only way justice is going to be served is if he feels every ounce of pain that he caused her to.
The sexual assault and trauma of a 10-month-old, too horrific to even explain.
It wasn't enough that he took her innocence, he had to take her life too.
Monday, Emily's mom found her bloody and swollen on the basement floor at their home in Ripley. Wednesday, she held her as she took her last breath.
Now that she's gone, you can't help but to just be angry.
Angry at Benjamin Taylor, who the sheriff says will now be charged with murder. A man Danielle Adkins says swept her cousin Emily's mom off her feet.
You literally would have thought he was a Prince Charming. Like, she was so lit up inside. He was, he wanted to do things with her and he hung out with the kids.
Jackson County Sheriff Tony Boggs says their investigation isn't over, but Emily's siblings do not appear to have been harmed, and their mom has not been accused of any wrongdoing.
She's never going to go home with her brothers and sister again. She's never going to be at a family event. We're never going to know what her kids are going to look like or get to see her graduate high school or any of those normal life things because of this monster.
Taylor is now charged with first-degree murder. He made his first court appearance yesterday morning. Deputies have recovered phone calls Taylor made to his mom while in jail, in which he repeatedly said he was sorry but that he didn't molest the baby. But he reportedly told his mom though he had, quote, done something bad. Taylor has said he wants a preliminary hearing and he also wants a court-appointed attorney. The Kentucky Supreme Court will hear an oral argument about free speech next week. Justices will decide whether an ordinance in Fayette County that bans begging and soliciting on public streets is a violation of free speech. The court will hear 5 other cases out of Hardin, Jefferson, McCracken, and Rockcastle counties. These cases deal with medical malpractice and eminent domain. The proceedings will take place on October 13th and 14th in the State Capitol building in Frankfort. Kentucky is also facing another dispute involving freedom of expression. A woman said she found a cross burning in her front yard and a racial slur written on her mobile home in western Kentucky. Tawaka Harris and her husband discovered a 2-foot-tall cross burning early Thursday. Harris said that they have been in an ongoing dispute with other residents in the Eastwood mobile home park. Her husband chased and punched a man who kicked in their door on Wednesday night.
New York and 5 other northeastern states are suing federal regulators to ensure that upwind states control their pollution. The Environmental Protection Agency is the one under fire. The states want a federal judge to force the EPA to add 9 more states to the group required by law to reduce smog in the Northeast. Ohio is included in this list along with West Virginia and Kentucky. Coming up next on Newswatch, Hurricane Matthew hit Florida today. Now Georgia and South Carolina are bracing for the impact.
That story, plus Trump and Clinton are preparing for the presidential debate. Hear how they are changing up their game plans next on Newswatch.
University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
Friday nights are all about high school football, but when the games are over and the helmets come off, it's time for some gridiron glory. I'm your host, Danny Dean, back under center. Don't miss a play this season. Join myself and the rest of our team on Friday nights at 11:30 on WOUB and catch us again on Saturday mornings at 11:30. We are committed to bringing you the stories of players, coaches, and communities, and of course, we can't forget about some highlights. We all know there's nothing better than Friday nights and gridiron glory.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous. Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Hurricane Matthew is churning along Florida's east coast today with more than 100-mile-per-hour winds. Part of the Sunshine State is still bracing for impact, but Georgia and the Carolinas are preparing for what's to come of Matthew this weekend. Diane Gallagher reports.
Fierce winds, gushing waters, and flying debris. Hurricane Matthew whipped central Florida's coast Friday morning, battering areas like Daytona Beach and St. Augustine with more than 100-mile-per-hour winds. And as northeastern Florida now braces for impact,
we're very focused on Jacksonville. There's potential for significant flooding there.
Coastal communities in Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina are also on notice as Hurricane Matthew continues on its path.
Storm force winds that are affecting the state of Georgia and will continue to do so, we're told, for about the next 24 hours.
It is getting worse, and so we are looking at major storm surges. We're looking at major winds.
The greatest impact in North Carolina will be Saturday through Sunday morning.
President Obama is urging residents in those areas to be on guard.
Those of you who live in Georgia, I think, should be paying attention because there's been a lot of emphasis on Florida, but this thing is going to keep on moving north through Florida into South Carolina. There are large population centers there that could be vulnerable.
I'm Diane Gallagher in Jacksonville reporting.
Thanks, Diane. The hurricane has affected millions of people, but it will not affect Florida's voter registration deadline. Hillary Clinton's campaign asked Republican Governor Rick Scott to extend the October 11th deadline because of the storm, but yesterday Scott said no.
I'm not going to extend it. If you whether it's the registration date, everybody has had a lot of time to register. So on top of that, we've got lots of opportunities to vote, early voting, absentee voting, and election day. So I don't intend to make any changes.
Professor Rick Hazen at the University of California, Irvine says Scott's decision could potentially lead to lawsuits. He also said absentee ballots that were mailed won't be available for some displaced Floridians, which could cause problems too. Now, a developing story coming out of the newsroom, email scandals surrounding the presidential election are becoming an international issue. The United States officially accused Russia today of hacking political sites. Intelligence officials are confident senior Russian officials authorized the email hacks based on the scope and sensitivity of the efforts. The accusation comes after increased pressure from political groups, including the Democratic National Committee.
The second presidential debate is this weekend, and Donald Trump is changing up his debate pregame ritual by rehearsing his answers. Advisors tell CNN he has been watching the videotape of his first debate with Clinton. A new positive TV ad comes as Trump's campaign looks to boost his historically low favorability ratings.
Does electing Donald Trump president mean for you? Families making $60,000 a year? You get a 20% tax rate reduction.
Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton is also preparing for the debate by lightening her campaign load ahead of this Sunday's debate. Clinton is opting to spend her time off the campaign trail in order to prepare, just as she did with the first debate. While Clinton herself lays low, her campaign has new ads hitting the airwaves.
Spent my life fighting for kids and families, and it'll be my mission to build a country where our children can rise as high as their dreams and hard work take them.
And one of Clinton's best assets for rallying support, a popular President Obama.
Not me going through the motions here. I really want to elect Hillary Clinton.
The town hall style debate takes place this Sunday in St. Louis, and it starts at 3 p.m. on MSNBC and will be moderated by CNN's Anderson Cooper and ABC's Martha Raddatz. On Wall Street today, stocks were mostly down across the board. Here's a look at some stocks of local interest.
People aren't the only ones fleeing Hurricane Matthew. Find out how the fluffiest members of the family are making it out alive. That story's still ahead.
We have a seasonable weekend in store for you, but a cool down in our work week. That's all in my extended forecast.
Professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous.
Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
Friday nights are all about high school football, but when the games are over and the helmets come off, it's time for some gridiron glory. I'm your host, Danny Dean, back under center. Don't miss a play this season. Join myself and the rest of our team on Friday nights at 11:30 on WOUB, and catch us again on Saturday mornings at 11:30. We are committed to bringing you the stories of players, coaches, and communities, and of course, we can't forget about some highlights. We all know there's nothing better than Friday nights and gridiron glory.
From the Newswatch Weather Center on the campus of Ohio University, I'm Matt Thigpen. Right now in Athens, we're seeing 72 degrees, cloudy skies, winds coming out of the east at 5 miles per hour. We're seeing a little bit of clouds out there. That's associated with our Hurricane Matthew down in Florida, like I said earlier. 68 degrees for our high school football forecast for tonight under those night lights. You'll not need a rain jacket this week. Great weather to sit out there and watch your favorite teams go at it. A couple homecoming games out there too. 72 again here in Athens, 70 down here in Ripley, 78 in our warmer spot of Ironton, and 75 in Chillicothe. Our Tropics Watch, here's this. There's a nice satellite image of our Hurricane Matthew. Florida right here, Cuba, went down through Haiti earlier this week, pulled up. It'll push past Charleston and Myrtle Beach. If you have any family, keep an eye out, keep in contact with them. Hopefully they have heeded the mandatory evacuations. But this hurricane is just going to dwindle over here, might actually come back into the Gulf and slowly dissipate through next week. There it is again, our precip cast. A cold front will move through, weak cold front as precipitation-wise. It'll just move through, bring in cooler conditions for this weekend. There's our Hurricane Matthew on our eastern seaboard. That cold front will push it a little bit out towards Nicole, which is near Bermuda out there in the Atlantic. Moving on through our tomorrow forecast for homecoming here in Athens, 69 degrees, breezy, morning clouds. If you're going to the homecoming parade, might need a light jacket. Our low for tonight is around 53 degrees. We'll see those clouds decrease throughout the day. Sunny skies by noontime. Hour by hour for tomorrow, 56 by 8 a.m. There's that light jacket. Cloudy skies, 63 by noon if you're waking up by noon. 69 by 4 p.m. Mostly sunny, a little breezy out there. Winds light and variable, 0 to 5 miles per hour. Our football forecast, if you're heading out to the homecoming game, homecoming against Bowling Green, defending MAC champions. Sunny skies, seasonable weather, 68, sunny. You might need that sunscreen out there. Lather it up everywhere you can. I know I was peeling last week. I don't like that. Temperatures for tomorrow across our region, 70 in Ripley, 69 in Marietta, 65 in New Martinsville, 65 in our state's capital of Columbus, 70 down in Ironton. Tonight, 53. There's that chance of showers to our southeast mainly in our West Virginia counties towards Charleston area. 53 degrees, need a light jacket if you're heading out for a run. 53 here in Athens. 59 down in Ironton. There's those showers down in West Virginia. They'll stay to our south, moving up the mountains. This is so weird associated with that hurricane. 60 degrees in New Martinsville, 53 in Columbus. Wide range for that hurricane. Extended forecast. Look at Sunday, 69 degrees. Saturday, 69. Sunday, cooling down to 64. We got to watch out Monday for some frost. 43 degrees for your Monday. Definitely for that bus stop, you'll need that light jacket. 68 for our high on Monday. Sunny skies. We move out into high pressure for the rest of our week. Friday through the rest of our weekend, seasonable skies. 77 on Wednesday for that brief warm-up. Allison, that's pretty nice for fall, I think.
Yeah, I'm really excited to start seeing some nice seasonal fall temperatures in the area. It's been a little bit hot out, and I'm very excited to maybe start pulling out some of my sweaters for the fall. And now Maryland is helping South Carolina's pet population ahead of Hurricane Matthew. The Humane Society reported transported 57 dogs from the Charleston Animal Society in South Carolina to its headquarters in Gaithersburg, Maryland. To Thursday. The move came after an evacuation order went into effect around the hurricane. The dogs were transported using a big rig truck to make room for the animals of possible flood victims.
Extremely important because what it allows is animal care agencies that are in the areas where they need to be able to, either they're in an evacuation zone or they're serving their communities. When we offset their population, they're able to be there for the people and the pets that are going to be displaced by this storm.
The dogs had been up for adoption in South Carolina, but will soon be available for adoption in locations near Washington, D.C. and elsewhere in the Northeast. Now over to Taylor with sports.
Hello, my name is Taylor Nimmo. Coming up in sports, a preview of Ohio football's homecoming game tomorrow, and a recap of the Indians' win last night and an update on their game right now, next on Newswatch. And make sure to stay tuned to WOUB. Here's a look at what's coming on tonight on your public television station. Friday nights are all about high school football, but when the games are over and the helmets come off, it's time for some gridiron glory. I'm your host, Danny Dean, back under center. Don't miss a play this season. Join myself and the rest of our team on Friday nights at 11:30 on WOUB, and catch us again on Saturday mornings at 11:30. We are committed to bringing you the stories of players, coaches, and communities, and of course, we can't forget about some highlights. We all know there's nothing better than Friday nights and gridiron glory.
Ohio University students really have a huge sense of pride in our campus, in our school, and in our education.
People don't come to Ohio just to go to college. They come here to become a Bobcat.
It's a really unique atmosphere.
Bobcat pride is having that natural camaraderie.
Bobcats are just happy to be Bobcats.
My favorite time of year at Ohio has to be homecoming.
When the alumni come back, you can see that the love of this university doesn't fade.
Once you're a Bobcat, you're always a Bobcat.
My professors really care. They care about my grades, they care about my opportunities, they care about my experiences, they want me to succeed.
They give those opportunities to the students.
My professors have been extremely approachable.
Literally, their door is always open.
You can go to them with pretty much anything.
Everyone knows your first and your last name and where you sit in the classroom.
I really never feel like I'm being talked down to or just being taught material. I always feel like I'm having a conversation.
And they want to share those opportunities and those experiences with us.
I knew that I wanted to come to Ohio University from the very first time I visited here.
There's something about the campus that grabs you.
It was really comforting.
Very welcoming.
It's one thing to write down your name and your GPA and that kind of stuff and send it in. It's another thing entirely to be here and see how great it is.
The campus here is just electric.
Absolutely gorgeous. Everything just looked really college-like.
I looked at my mom and I said, "This is it." And she said, "The tour's just started." I said, "No, you don't understand. This is it."
Welcome back, I'm Taylor Nimmo. Last night, the Cleveland Indians made their postseason debut at Progressive Field as they took on the Boston Red Sox. The Indians hit 3 home runs in the bottom of the 3rd inning, which would give them a 4-2 lead, which the Red Sox never quite recovered from. The Red Sox scored a run in the 8th inning on a Brock Holt home run, but the Indians held on for a 5-4 win. The two teams are currently back at Progressive Field playing Game 2, and the current score is 5-0 in the bottom of the 6th inning. It's a big weekend at Ohio University. It is homecoming weekend, and the Bobcats will play Bowling Green tomorrow afternoon. Bowling Green is currently 1-3 and coming into this game off of a loss to Eastern Michigan in their conference opener last weekend. However, the Bobcats are riding in off of a 2-game winning streak and having played their best defensive game all season in last week's game against Miami, Ohio. Ohio is hoping to redeem themselves as last year's Bowling Green beat the Bobcats 62-24 and extended their win streak over Ohio to 4. Ohio women's volleyball will play Eastern Michigan at the Convocation Center tomorrow night. This will be a MAC matchup where Ohio is currently 4-1 in the conference and Eastern Michigan is 2-3 in the conference. Ohio is coming off of an evenly contested win against East Division rival Kent State last night, 3-1. With this win, the Bobcats earned their 300th MAC victory in program history. Ohio now also has won 5 out of 6 of their past matches. The Cincinnati Bengals will be on the road this week as they will take on the Dallas Cowboys on Sunday afternoon. The Bengals are hoping to carry the momentum from their Thursday night win against the Miami Dolphins into this week. The Bengals are still hurting in the red zone without their tight end Tyler Eifert as he recovers from an ankle injury, and Marvin Lewis says Eifert will not return this week. The Bengals had a weekend off to get some rest and prepare as they will try to break the Cowboys' 3-game win streak this weekend. The Cleveland Browns play the New England Patriots at home this Sunday at 1 o'clock. The Patriots will come into the game at 3-1, while the Browns are currently still sitting at 0-4. The Patriots quarterback Tom Brady will return this week after his 4-game suspension from the Deflate scandal. The Patriots had a tough loss last week and struggle without their quarterback. However, they may muscle up some confidence knowing they're traveling to meet the only winless team in the NFL. Don't forget, Gridiron Glory is on tonight at 11:30 p.m. Here is a list of the teams we are covering this week. A big game to look at will be Trimble versus Southern. Both of these teams have had impressive totals in their games last week. Trimble beat Wahama 46-0, and Southern beat Federal Hocking 42-14. Trimble will hope to put an end to Southern's undefeated win streak. Also, you don't want to miss the game of the week, Jackson versus Logan. Logan will try to build off their momentum from last week. They scored a season-high 31 points as they take on Jackson, who is currently 5-2. I'm Taylor Nemo, and that's it for sports. Back to you, Chelsea.
All right, thanks, Taylor. Are you a selfie addict? I know I'm guilty of snapping a few photos of myself from time to time. If you find yourself constantly taking selfies, though, take a listen to this. It could mean you're struggling with some loneliness. A new study judged the personalities of 300 people and how often they snapped pictures of themselves. Researchers in Thailand found those who take selfies often and post them to social media do it to seek approval from others. They're also more likely to be vain and attention-seeking. They say it could also be a sign of relationship trouble for mental health problems. The study is published in the Journal of Psychosocial Research on Cyberspace.
That football forecast looks like this for OU for tomorrow. 68 degrees. I know we got field hockey out there too. Sunny and seasonable weather for fall. Finally, we're getting some of that fall weather into our region. 69 on Saturday for your weekend forecast. 44 by Saturday night. 64 for Sunday. Sunny skies. What a pleasant weekend to head out for homecoming. Head out to that parade. That parade starts at 10 a.m. tomorrow. 69 for Saturday. 64 for Sunday. Monday, we got to watch out for that frost again. Bundle up those kids for the bus stop. Great weekend to go out and party and just have whatever you want, Allison.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Chelsea Sick.
And I'm Allison Gens. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at woub.org. Have a great night.
Friday nights are all about high school football, but when the games are over and the helmets come off, it's time for some gridiron glory. I'm your host, Danny Dean, back under center. Don't miss a play this season. Join myself and the rest of our team on Friday nights at 11:30 on WOUB and catch us again on Saturday mornings at 11:30. We are committed to bringing you the stories of players, coaches, and communities, and of course, we can't forget about some highlights. We all know there's nothing better than Friday nights and gridiron glory.